One Piece episode 1151 begins with chaos erupting across the Marine fleet because after taking a brutal shove from Mercury, the Iron Giant becomes a walking nightmare for every ship nearby. The sailors panic, having no idea what that ancient machine is, as it starts dragging vessels underwater before diving in itself and shutting down the Den Mushi as if it had. Fainted just as Vegapunk's message briefly flickers back on at the exact moment he was about to reveal a huge name likely tied to the D clan, making everyone immediately think of Nefertari D. Lily. Deep in the ocean, the Iron Giant keeps repeating, "Where is Joy Boy?" like it's searching for someone it was supposed to reunite with centuries ago, raising the question of whether it is talking about the present or if it is recalling memories from 900 years in the past. Joy Boy left unfinished destins behind, like helping the fishmen, and there is also that enormous hat guarded by Aimu, clearly hinting that the robot expected to cross paths with him again. But imagine waking up after 200 years only to get smacked and thrown into the sea seconds later. Meanwhile, on the surface, the Marines are still dealing with the demon boar, and the mere sight of the Gorosei should be taboo, yet now it's practically routine. The god of justice is visibly irritated, and Vegapunk's transmission finally dies, leaving the entire world in suspense, believing the scientist has been silenced. In Alabaster, people refused to believe the world government would erase the greatest genius alive. Ironically, they did the exact same thing to their own king, and now they're re-accusing Luffy of kidnapping Vegapunk, even though he was only trying to save the old man and has already saved Alabasta years ago. We're then shown a king who isn't very recognizable, and his chef insists that the government would never kill a brain like Vegapunk, showcasing their blind faith. Meanwhile, Leo believes everything without a second thought, and Rebecca gets annoyed at his innocence. Back on Egghead, Yerk answers the Gorosei as if it were a telemarketing call, while they ask which Vegapunks are still alive besides her. She checks Punk records and finds Lilith and Atlas, unaware that Stellar and Edison are still alive, just disconnected. Even so, she gives the information, leading the Gorosei to decide to erase the remaining bodies because, to them, the other Vegapunks are unnecessary risks, and Yerk basically opened the door for them to absorb all their knowledge. Cut to the Giants, with Dory, Broggy, and Luffy happily jumping onto the Elbaf ship while Bonnie finally calls Luffy by his name, surprising him. Sanji and Frankie are amazed by the size of the ship, and Luffy is already asking where the rest of the crew ended up. Vice Admirals scream not to let the Straw Hats escape, but against Giants, numbers don't matter, there's no salvation. The Marines panic because Doll Bluegrass and even the Marine weapon have been turned into children by Bonnie, who, despite limitations, shows why the Toshi no Mi is one of the most absurd devil fruits, and she is only 12 years old. Bonnie taunts the Marines, reminding them of the punishment they'll face if she escapes, since even Sentomaru couldn't hold her properly, let alone some random Marine. On the giant ship, Kashi is dragged back on board all beat up, and Oimo celebrates seeing another giant arriving. Sanji tells Nami they've already set sail, and she replies they lines come down to they just need a push. Sanji promises to save Nami, Robin, and Lilith if the ship falls, irritating Usopp since he's never the priority, while Frankie assures he won't let the ship break, and Usopp keeps complaining anyway. Suddenly, something massive approaches. St. Marcus Mars the Gorosei in a flaming bird form, making Sandy grit his teeth, and Bonnie tense up because this is the third Gorosei she has seen, while Luffy is too busy devouring mountains of food cooked by the giant chef, causing it all to vanish in seconds as he says he needs to fatten up to activate Gear 5. The giant laughs at his shamelessness. Mars unleashes a devastating beam of fire, and giants Bedern and Sig form a shield to protect the ship. Even so, the flames spread, and Marines below get confused, thinking the giant Firebird is helping the pirates. Sanji thanks them, and Bonnie says they need to get Stella and Kuma's body out of there. Atlas offers to carry them, while Dory and Broggy complain that yet another Gorosei has shown up, and this one has wings, making escape basically impossible. Mars declares that no one will get away today. Frankie notices the sea pulsing like it's beating to a rhythm, and the Marines think it's an earthquake, while Luffy celebrates because everything aligned perfectly with his full stomach. The water begins to vibrate like a drum, reminding the world of Vegapunk's warning about rising sea levels. Mars realizes what's happening as Luffy joyfully shouts at Bonnie, to which she answers an AAA again, leaving him clueless. Dory and Bragi start dancing with the drums of liberation, and Bragi reminds Dory to put out the ship's fire. Luffy calls Bonnie to help defeat the enemies, and she says she can't keep up. But Luffy believes in her, and that makes her remember his words about this being his form when he is completely free. So she activates a distorted future where she is also free, and suddenly there are 2 Nikas, 2 sets of drums, 2 liberators, with Luffy overjoyed. And honestly, so am I, because it's simply insane. The Marines are in shock, and even Mars loses composure seeing Luffy prepare to face another Gorosei, with Bonnie ready at his side. Meanwhile, far away, the drums of liberation activate something that Warcury and Jupiter deeply hate, reminding us that the Iron Giant from 200 years ago was never defeated. It simply shut down mid-battle, and now it may finally be waking up for real. If you made it this far, you're a true legend. One Piece is reaching a point where every chapter feels like history in the making, and what's coming next is going to shake the entire world of anime. So if you want to stay ahead of every twist, every reveal, and every insane moment that Oda is about to drop on us, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss a single beat. Because the drums of liberation are getting louder, the Iron Giant is waking up, and the fate of the world is about to turn upside down. This is just the beginning. I'll see you in the next one. Stay hype, stay free, and let the drums resound.